morning to you. Rise and shine. I'm Kavita Sidhu, and welcome back to another episode of Sunrise to Health. Always look at the positive side of life, enjoy it, and nurture it. So, for our lady friends out there, some of us tend to suffer from that monthly stomach cramps and moodiness that comes with it, right? So, for today's exercise, we're going to help improve and target that hormonal imbalance and perhaps make us forget about the problem. We also have a great breakfast treat for you, so easily prepared, and it's sure to put a smile on your face for the rest of the day. I guarantee that. Our guest today, Mrs. Choi Boon Ling, will be chatting about understanding anger from a different angle. So that will surely put us in a more positive mode and hopefully help us lead a more healthier life. So let's get straight to it. Let's move over to Nini and her exercise routine. Stay with us. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Kavita. Hi, I'm Nini. Today we are going to discover how exercise can help boost our fertility and restore the health of our reproductive system. We are going to begin by sitting in a bound angle legs position by touching our feet against each other and bringing our heels closest up to our upper thighs. Opening our feet like a book, we're going to sit upright, taking an inhale through the nose. We're going to exhale, humming with our lips closed and flapping our legs as if they're like butterfly wings. When there's no more exhale, stop sitting upright again. Inhale, exhale again. And for the last set, inhaling through the nose and exhale, humming through our mouth and flap the knees again. And relax, breathe normal, and we're going to keep breathing, inhale, exhale only through the nose for the rest of the session. The humming breath that we did earlier produces vibration, and paired with the knees flapping movement, it will help stimulate and reposition our reproductive organs back to its optimal function and position. Now let's lie down on our stomach for our next exercise. Fitrina behind me, she will be showing an easier variation, and Joanne and myself will demonstrate the full pose. So if you're taking just the easier variation, you're going to stretch your hands forward. Otherwise, we are going to raise our legs and catch the hands to the ankles. Taking an inhale here. Exhale, we are going to rock a little bit to our right on the exhale. Inhale again, looking up. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And we are going to slowly come back, release the hands beside the chest, and rest for a while. The exercise that we just did will help massage and rejuvenate our reproductive organs so that it's able to release just the optimal amount of happy hormones to help the body procreate. For the next exercise, we are going to lie down on our back this way. Bending our legs and stacking our knees just on top of the ankles with the feet open, hips width apart. We are going to cross and rest our right ankle on top of the left knee with both hands hugging and cradling under the back of the left thigh. Flexing both feet to protect the knees and ankles. Taking an inhale here. And exhale, we're gonna bring our right foot closer to the chest. Staying here for 5 breaths. By every breath that lifts the body, visualize that all of our worries, the tightness and resistance around our pelvis area slowly disappear. At the 5th breath, we are going to slowly release the legs back to initial starting position to switch side. Now left ankle resting on top of our right leg. Both hands now hugging under the back of the right thigh. Both feet flexed, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. Inhaling. And on the exhalation, using the assistance and strength of our hands to bring our leg closest to the chest. 5 breaths. Imagining as if each breath is almost like waves of water, washing away all the blockages on our pelvis area and our hip joints, which are the biggest pair of joints in our body. And very slowly from there, lower the legs down again and come back to initial starting position. And we can begin our last and final exercise for today by placing the hands beside and just alongside of the body. This time around, using the strength and foundation of your feet and thighs, we are going to raise our bum off the floor, leveling the thighs with the spine. We can stay here and try to interlock our fingers to awaken and stimulate the glands under our throat and in the heart center that also help boost our immune system, and working together with all the other glands in the body. This is called the bridge pose, and at any time the reproductive organs are higher than the heart, and when the heart is higher than the brain, we get to send a fresh influx of oxygen. And very slowly release the interlacing of the fingers and lower the body down to the ground. These exercises are best done at night, and please ensure to drink lots of water after the exercise. Have a wonderful day today.
So I'm having a lovely chat today with Boon Ling. She's a trainer from Cloven Clive. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Welcome.
So we're going to be talking about understanding anger and how we can look at anger from a different perspective so that we have more self-understanding.
That's true.
So what is it about us that we feel anger and how do we overcome that?
Anger is actually an emotion that every one of us have. And if you were to put it in a nice short sentence, that anger comes when we don't get what we want,
Yes.
or we get what we don't want.
Right.
So an example would be like if you were in a traffic jam and you're supposed to be somewhere and you really wanted to be punctual, but you just couldn't, and people are calling you, and naturally one of the response would be get angry and upset.
Right. So how has that got a negative impact on our lives?
So that's a very wonderful question, because physiologically something happens to us even though you may look quite okay, but if you were a person who gets angry a lot, what happens is there's the chemical adrenaline,
Right.
is released into your body, and because it is like a very ancient defense mechanism that you have, whether you fight or you flight.
Yes.
So when that happens, that chemical flows through your whole body, and what happens when you get angry? Your heart beats faster, and you'll notice that your pupils are dilated, and you'll notice that you have a lot of strength,
Yes.
because your body naturally gets you ready to fight,
Yes.
or to run.
Yes.
But what happens is that if you keep doing that, so your body will be in a reactive mode all the time. It's almost like you are waiting for something to happen. And the body also compensates by stopping all your digestion system and everything else, but your heart beat faster. So what happens now, if it's long term, if you continuously get angry all the time, you may get digestive problems, gastric and so on. And for some, because the secretion of adrenaline and the fatty acid, it starts to create problems for your heart.
Right. And your blood pressure goes up and all those bad things for you. So it's very interesting. So you're talking about looking at anger from a different perspective.
Yes.
So how do we do that?
We normally see anger happens because something happened to us,
Yes.
or somebody did something to us,
Right.
right? Or somebody did something that I didn't like.
Yes.
So it's always outside there, right?
Yes.
So what happens if we look at that perspective, we are stuck. We have no way out, because I can't change you. I can't change the example, the traffic jam. I can't say go away. So if they stay, but the anger will continue to stay in the body and so on. But if I could learn to see is that what's happening with me,
Yes.
what's happening with me, what's inside me, what's so important for me here right now.
Okay.
That's a different perspective.
Yes. So it's similar to self-awareness then, isn't it? So it's like when you're having those anger feelings, you should be aware of it and maybe tell yourself that you shouldn't feel that anger because really you're the only one that's going to suffer.
Well, we could tell ourselves that.
Right?
Will be more another way to really look at it is like, what's important for me right now? Like example, you're in a traffic jam. What's important for you at that moment?
To reach my destination.
Yes.
Okay.
To also to maybe to be punctual.
Okay.
And to be seen as effective.
Okay.
Right? But because you couldn't get there, then all these needs of yours are not met.
Right.
So automatically what happens is that if you could see those are your needs and not because of the traffic jam, you could see, how could I meet these needs now? You could call ahead and tell people like, I really want to be punctual. I really want to be effective and get there on time. But there's this really horrible jam which is I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So what you do, you have mitigated this anger here because you understood yourself. And you could have communicated what happened to the other person. So even if someone calls you and says like, where are you? Why are you so late? Oh no, I'm really trying my best, you know.
Right, so it's almost like taking back your own power and having control of the situation.
Yes, yes.
Rather than letting you lose the control, right?
It's acknowledging what's happening here.
Okay, so how is it? I mean, when it comes to anger, some people tend to bottle it up and some people tend to vent it out. So what would be the best? Is there a solution for that?
Yeah. Actually, both ways are actually, they call it exploding and imploding.
Okay.
Both, again, brings hurt to the body. And it also hurts people outside. If you explode, you hurt people outside. And if you implode, you hurt yourself also, you know. So the other way is, of course, be really clear what's happening right now. Be very clear of your needs, because every one of us have certain needs or important things to us at that moment that's really triggering us. That's really triggering this emotion called anger. And whenever we don't have that that self-awareness of what's happening within ourselves, we will keep going outside and blame other people
Yes.
for what's happening. And we know when we blame, we get stuck in a rut.
Yes.
And it's really unproductive.
Right.
And what we do is we just foster a very negative relationship with other people.
Yes.
And that escalates the anger in the other person. And when the person is angry, we escalate the anger here too. So it's like two time bombs and waiting to explode together.
That's right. So what advice would you give for people who maybe suffer from anger? I mean, should they go for anger management, or what would be your advice?
Well, there are actually many things that the people who are constantly angry, they can do. They can go for anger management classes, which is
Right.
wonderful. They can get some professional help, like from a counselor. They could actually start to they have to do things like to meditate.
Yes.
And one thing I realized that why we are getting more angry a lot of times, we're not getting enough rest.
Yes.
We're not getting enough sleep. So how many hours are we sleeping nowadays? Easily, I think if you were to ask somebody on the street, they may be sleeping 5 hours. If you do not hit like the 6.5 to 8 hours sleep and don't get into deep sleep, your emotions are very easily triggered.
Yes.
That's one thing, it's really important, especially for children. They learn the behavior of anger from their parents.
Right.
So the parents are role modeling to them that if I sleep late, I get this kind of behavior, it's okay, So children then learn that it's okay to get angry. So
Yes.
if you really want to get some really quality sleep, means stopping the technology that you have, your handphone, your iPads, your Facebook, maybe at a certain time of the night, maybe about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and just make a resolute to go to sleep.
Yes. So Boon Ling, can you tell us a little bit more about understanding anger and how we can address that?
Well, if anger is something that's explosive, you would like to cool it down, right? So some of the actions that we can do is do acts of kindness.
Okay.
Like being kind to people, saying nicer things, or just helping out people. So the more we build these reserves of kindness, potentially it could help us to see that this is a balance of that anger that is there in our mind and in our body. So the more kindness that we do, the more we are inclined to more kind and more peaceful thoughts, rather than angry thoughts, how people are actually trying to disturb us and so on.
Right. Because oftentimes I've noticed that certain people kind of carry an anger with them. It could have been in something that's happened in their past,
Yes.
that they were unfairly treated, maybe in a past relationship, or they've been through a really hard time, a divorce or a death in the family, and kind of just living with that anger that they can't explain why they feel that way, but they do. So how does one manage that? I mean,
I think if it's something that's really deep-seated and for a prolonged time, it's really good to get some professional help.
right.
Yeah, because the longer we stay with that kind of anger, and we will continue to grow it.
Right.
And end of the day, we're going to just become this angry ball of fire walking around.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you so much for this chat.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have for today, I'm afraid. And I hope you've enjoyed Sunrise to Health. And we'll see you again next week. Remember, healthy body, healthy mind. Bye.